disappointed. I didn't have anybody writing notes for me, so I'm kind of really just wing this. A little bit of history. I am the director of the local chef association. I work at St. Mary's. We use Gulf shrimp all the time. And if there was anything wrong with it, I couldn't serve it to the patients. So it is in our hospitals. The biggest thing that the Chefs Association wants to, our biggest goal is to support local industry. We do a whole lot of different types of fundraising for local charities. And the shrimpers in this area, we want them to keep working as long as they can and producing this product for us. This product, you can tell the difference between fresh caught Gulf shrimp and farm raised. It's got it's just a little more briny. It's got a better taste, and that's what I prefer. The shrimp that Father brought to us last night, awesome. I mean, you pick them up and you can just smell the Gulf. They hadn't been frozen. They were just really nice. My grandfather was a shrimper, and I know how hard that they work. They can go out one day and not catch anything, go out the next, their boat's full. So really that's what we're here to do. Communities help support us and keep us going, so that's what we're here to do. Thank you.
I want to thank all our presenters, and at this time I'd like to ask we're going to open it up for Q&A from the media, but I would ask the panel so as to be able to pick it up clearly by microphone, and when the question's asked, if you come here and take the mic and, or at least along my cord, just bring the mic to you, okay? So the questions. Yes, Jay.
This question is for Captain. One of your previous bosses, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, said about the Iraq War. He spoke of known unknowns. So is it the known unknown in this case, where this oil is going to come, if it's going to come, and the likelihood, God forbid, that a tropical storm or a hurricane picks this stuff up and pushes it this way? How are you guys forecasting that? What's the next step? Is this message that we're delivering here today could quickly be rendered inoperative or not a state?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question, but I'll try to answer it anyway. As far as will the oil come to Texas or not, I guess we have the best minds probably in the country working that, and that's between the National Weather Service and NOAA. They've been working through some of the simulations. I think I read this morning in the Wall Street Journal about they've got one of the big supercomputers that taking a look at one of the main currents that drive the Gulf, the loop current, and took a look at that. And so, at least right now, the predictions are that much of the oil, the surface oil, is moving to the east and towards the Keys. So, the simulations are out there working. I think that each iteration of the simulations that they run, they go back and refine the models a little bit more. So I think that we probably made more progress recently with some of those simulations than we probably had in the last 10 years, just because they're so important. So as far as the models maybe predicting or whether that's some of that oil is going to come to Texas or not, I haven't seen any simulation that says that the oil is going to come to the Western Gulf, although most of the guys I've talked to with Weather Service or NOAA said if a storm gets into the Gulf, of course, all bets are off with that, because there's no way to predict what that storm will do, either for the operations at source control. The guys are out there trying to plug the hole in the bottom there, or where it will take the oil from once it gets to the surface. I think the other unknown, and I think that we've been working real hard to get a handle on this, is the subsurface kind of impacts. This tar ball impact that JT had talked a little bit about. Maybe that's what we're expecting here, but so far nothing's indicating that that's happening, that we're getting any tar balls from the Deepwater Horizon spill. And we have collected a number of tar balls from the beaches. I think 19 separate samples. About half of them we got back and said that they are not related to the BP spill, so that's good news to us. The other half right now are still being processed. I suspect that they'll come back negative as well. There certainly are some harballs, but they're not connected to the BP spill. So without completely understanding your question, I hope that I answered that.
Yes, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Next. Yes, Renee.
Hey, Father, one question, not really for the panelists, mostly I see in the audience some of the Vietnamese community who make their living primarily out of the fishing industry, and I know shrimp is a big. If it has, I want to ask them if this has affected them. If anybody in the audience would like to comment on that.
Would some of y'all like to comment right now? Or what we will also have, would you like to say a word? Yeah, please.
Big tax is going to represent for a big community. So if we have some really coming up, so she will let us know about the test by, because I'm sure.
So there's going to be some meetings coming up with the shrimping, Vietnamese shrimping community.
So she, probably we can talk to you or with somebody customer or so they get more detail, more understanding, how correct it is.
Yeah, and certainly also, once we finish with the formal part, there'll be an opportunity actually to intermingle and speak to each other more clearly. Correct.
I might add in response to Mr. Ramirez, the reason that this meeting came about today is that we were having lunch at J. Martin Seafood with Nikki Tran, who is no longer shrimping because it became so incredibly expensive to shrimp. But she does have a seafood restaurant, and she was telling us how very expensive it is now to purchase shrimp already. Just right after the oil spill, the prices went out of the roof. So that was really the reason that this whole meeting came about today.
Yes.
Yes, Captain Plunkett, how many other rigs are out in the Gulf that's similar to the one that had to release, collapsed? And what's being done to inspect those rigs and make sure that this don't happen again and being prepared that if it does, we're more prepared?
I don't have the number. I think of the vast majority of the rigs that are out there, I think many of them are in shallow water, which are a different kind of issue than we saw with the Deepwater horizon, which is about 5,000 feet of water. I think some of the problems that they're encountering with source control are because it's under nearly a mile of water. So I don't have a number on that. I do know that there's been some stoppages of work by the MMS for some of this, the Deepwater drilling that's kind of in progress right now, moratorium on them, and even some of the shallower water as well. And I'm not off on that. The MMS would better, our Department of Interior would probably better address that question for you. I do know that many of the oil majors, though, with some of the preliminary evidence has come back with the blow-off preventer problems that they had with Deepwater Horizon, are going back themselves and taking a look at their operations. So the ones that haven't been have a mandatory stoppage put on them, they're out there working on that. And I know BP is doing that with their other rigs as well, and some of the other companies.